everyone, we are back with the painted dice tower. If you have missed how to make this, last video. Just going to paint it up now. So what you're going to need is some acrylic paints and some nice fluffy big brushes. That's about it. I have mixed some paint. I've made sort of a grey. I made this with some black, white and a little bit of yellow ochre. It's just a dark grey or medium grey. I'm going to start by hitting it with a little bit of my favourite thing to do. Everyone say it together. Dry brushing. So paint on the brush, a lot of the paint off the brush, and you want to hit it on an angle to everything that's carved in. So don't go straight down, don't go straight across, angle. So just start randomly here. And it should start to cling to the top surfaces. I will time lapse this entire thing so that you're not bored, because that is literally it for the entire thing until we change up a few of the colors. There we go, as we say in Australia, easy as. That's literally it, and it looks pretty cool because of all the detail we put in when we carved in the brickwork. So that's the base pretty much done. Probably a little bit of flocking. That needs to remain just basic because that's where the dice are going to go. So here we have got the window surrounds to do. I'm probably going to do them in a different grey so that they stand out. The stonework around the portcullis area and the wooden bits, so the drawbridge and the trapdoor where the dice are going to go. Maybe a little bit more to bring it up, but I'm sure you'll agree it's not bad for some floor matting. Next up, the wooden areas. So this bit, the drawbridge and the trapdoor. Just going to do that in some brown. Burnt umber I'm going to start with, so it's a darkish brown. New brush, blink, and off we go, same thing. A little bit on the brush, off the brush, and across the grain. So don't forget to do down the sides as well. As long as you're going across, you can't really make any mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, just redo it black and start again. Across the grain. Neaten up any mistakes with a small brush later. Main thing is don't paint in where the black undercoat is. You can bend it because it's foam, so I'm just going to paint the other side brown because I've forgotten to do the wood grain on the inside. Done. Super quick. Now I'm just going to hit it with a lighter brown when that dries. Bring out the grain just a smidge more. Here we are. Trapdoor done. Drawbridge done. Sorry, the lighting in here is terrible, but the electrician is coming out to replace some of the bulbs. So my future tutorials should be easier to see. There we are. Wait for that to dry. I'll come back, do a little bit of lighter brown, and then we'll start on the windows. Okay, I've just mixed in a little bit of red oxide with some yellow ochre. Just a smidge. Make this wood a little bit lighter. Same technique, nothing new here. Sometimes when I'm doing these tutorials, I think to myself, I should do a Bob Ross style one. Just put some paint on the happy little drawbridge. I was much happier for having that on there. Really brings up the texture. Gives him a job to do. Happy little drawbridge. Complete. Happy little trapdoor. Almost complete. Could do the hoop and the hinges. Just lighten that drawbridge just a smidge, just a smidge. Happy little drawbridge is so much happier now that it's a little bit lighter. Ta-da! There we go. Magnets sticking. There we go. Okay, I've taped up all the windows. They stick out, remember, so the dry brushing will work no problem. And I've taped off the portcullis area. And that is it. I'm going to hit the windows with some sort of sandy color, I think. Or sandstone. I was going to do them white, but I think they'd look too clean. So I think maybe just yellow ochre, since we've used it elsewhere. May as well crack on. Another new brush. You can wash your brushes, but I find that they remain sticky even when you wash these ones. I'm assuming because they're cheap, so I prefer a nice new fluffy one. If this looks rubbish, we'll just redo it in a different colour. Just to differentiate them from the background. Just make sure I've got the sides and underneath. That's all I'm doing, so I'll time lapse the rest. Here we go, just going to untape it now to see how we're trekking. There we go, all the tape's off. Still little things to do, the sconces need done. I might dirty up the brickwork a little. And I've left Rapunzel's window taped because I'll need to do her hair. My suggestion would be, when you're doing yours, don't use the super hairy string. I chose an additionally hairy one. I should have chosen a nylon one or something less stringy, because it's all split when it's been painted. So I think if that was nylon, it would look much nicer and much neater. So that's where we're at the moment. It's looking pretty cool. Those little torches with the hot glue worked a treat. Now back with the dice tower. I'm going to do some of the little silver and metally bits on there, so we'll need some silver acrylic. I'm going to tape it off just to make it easier. And the little hinges. There we go. It's looking pretty cute. The sconces I'm just going to do with a small brush. I think that will be easier. Okay, so if you've been following the build along, you will know that this here is Rapunzel's hair. Not anymore. I don't like it. I think it looks a complete and utter disaster. So I'm changing it. Now, if you manage to get your Rapunzel hair to look neat and not a complete disaster, I mean, she clearly doesn't use conditioner. That is a disgrace. You can leave yours. I am going to paint this green and turn it into some horrendous vine that is growing on that sill. I'm going to tape it off now, and I'm just going to smash it with some dark green and then go over it with some light green, and we'll maybe add some little flowers as well. I'm going to start with some Hooker's green, which is a really dark green. I'm just going to use an old brush since we're not really being neat here. Maybe someone's trying to escape the castle by using the vines. Wait for that to dry, I'll come in and I'll hit it up with something lighter green. I just found these little roses in my junk bin, so I'm going to paint them black and dry brush them and maybe dot them down this ugly vine. Here goes nothing. Well, it definitely looks better as a vine than it did as hair, that's for sure. I also found some chain, which you could easily attach from the end of the drawbridge up to here, but I worry that the dice flying out will probably hit it. So I'm just going to leave it off. But if that were a wider drawbridge off to the side, that might be pretty cool too. Okay, roses. Tiny bit of white over the top. Glue these roses on. These little roses, by the way, I just found in my little jewelry junk box. But if you haven't got roses, just get a little piece of foam, curl it up, cut it, glue it together and pop them on. Same. Too much, I'm gonna leave the butterfly off. There we go, that looks quite pretty. Makes it pop more than the hair would have. Maybe she's up there contemplating climbing down. I think that is our dice tower complete. I will take some nice photos somewhere. I might take it outside so it's in natural sunlight, and I'll pop them up after this. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed this little paint through. If you missed how to make it, it's just the video before this one. I think I'm going to do another one. I mentioned this is for my son-in-law. He runs an awesome D&D campaign, so I'm going to give this to him. This was a practice. Turned out really quite nice. I'm thinking of making myself one, and I'm going to do it sci-fi themed. So if you want to see how to make a Hadley's Hope type sci-fi dice tower, that's my overall plan for an upcoming video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to build up the subs. I do other board game mods, I do Nerf modding, a little bit of prop making, and loads of other geeky stuff. Thanks for watching this video. If you have, I hope you've enjoyed the final build. Nerfenstein out.